Stop it live. Welcome, everybody. This is Michael Dunn, your host tonight on the Word on Real Estate. Let's talk about it. I'm Michael Dunn, CEO of Decade Financial Solutions, and I'm going to be co-hosting with my buddy Terrell Simmons. What's
Yes,
going on?
yes. When I'm on the mic, it sounds so nice. Terrell Simmons. You can find me at terrells.com. Also, career consultant at Sage, workforce consultant at Sage. And then also got some special guests in the building.
Yee!
Yee! Got a good friend of mine, Luis Martinez, CEO of We the Plug, director of Startup Grind. And right next to him, Christina, um, COO now of We the Plug.
That's correct.
Christina I Am website, consulting, all the other business services. I'll let these folks tell you about themselves in just a bit. Why don't you start off, Christina? Tell the people a little bit about your background, what you kind of currently do, and then I'll let it go over to Luis.
Sure, sure. Well, I appreciate you calling me Christina because that's how some of my family members refer to me. But my other name is Christiana.
Oh,
Yes, thank you so much for that introduction and
she gonna kill me later on that one.
bringing up my
I g-
family name.
yeah, I know.
That's all good. It's all good. It's all love. I am with Luis Martinez on We the Plug. We are going to go into that a little bit, but I also a year ago started my own consulting company called Mended Wing Consulting LLC. The focus with that is working with small business owners and entrepreneurs on strategic planning and project management. That's part of
Awesome.
what I do, amongst some other stuff.
Yeah, she gonna really kill me on that later because I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Butchered it. Butchered it.
All right, Luis. I know I got that one right.
He didn't at first neither, but it's all good.
Oh
Um,
man, there we go.
it's all good. It's all good. So I am the CEO, founder of We the Plug, and also I'm the director for Stop Grind San Diego, and that amongst other things. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
um, that's me in a nutshell.
All right. See the reason why I wanted to have both of them on the show is because when I made my transition over to the entrepreneurial side of things from being a company man for some time, these are the first two people that I met, and they did a lot to kind of guide me and to direct me to all the resources out there and kind of build structure. And we've built a great working relationship. So one of the things that I talked about last time when I was on the show
Yeah.
is we talked a little bit about careers, but I wanted to go dive in a little bit. I saw this article that I shared with all you guys today, building and expanding your career network, 10 proven techniques for job seekers. I'm going to talk about it from the job seeker perspective, and you two could chime in too on the job seeker, but I also want you to give the perspective of what it's like when you're networking and you're going from a job seeker to a consulting or entrepreneurship as
Yeah.
well. Because a lot of the listeners had questions around that.
Yeah.
Like, how do I find my skill? How do I network? And how do I start to build something that allows me to get that side income, that
Yes.
sustainable income, and so forth?
Mm,
So
yeah.
let's look at this article. Let's dive right in. The first thing they said is ask members of your current network for referrals. And I know in the career world that's something that's important. Go back to those old jobs that you worked with, ask for referrals, who's out there, what's going on, so you can kind of get in the pipeline. Is the same true for consulting, entrepreneurship, and so forth? What's your take on it?
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about my journey, right? I've transitioned about 4 times. And when I say transition, I'm talking about from one career to another.
Okay.
So my background is in nonprofit and prevention education, is what I originally started out of right out of college and loved it. Did it for about 9.5 years.
Wow.
And yeah, it was
Nine
incredible.
and a
It was
half years. That's
nine
That's a
and a
long
half
time.
years.
yeah.
It is. I was a baby and was pretty much raised under some great leaders who taught me about grant writing and understanding the the inside track of how to make a nonprofit profitable. Because oftentimes people think of nonprofits as literally that, like
Mhm.
nonprofit, but you actually are making a profit. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the
People don't
company,
realize it's a business too.
it,
Now, nonprofit is a
a
business. It's
business.
like running a business. It's just at the end of the day, when you get that tax write off and so forth, you have to
Yeah.
abide by these certain guidelines.
Absolutely, but again, you want to show that you're profiting, right?
Yeah.
You want to show that you're growing and actually
Absolutely.
scale. So, so I did that and learned how to grant write. Was one of their strong grant writers, and then I transitioned from that into a healthcare profession, and so I worked under the guise of a company that was funded through the CDC,
Yeah.
Center for Disease Control.
Okay.
And that was a transition because the work I was doing, which was a lot of community mobilization and grant writing, now I'm doing training on communicable diseases, right? So that was a huge leap for me in
Hmm.
regards to learning a different language
Yeah.
and a whole different community. Now, there was some crossovers, right, from my
Yeah.
skill set. And I think that's one of the things to really think about when you're transitioning. How can my skill sets transition into the new space that I'm going
That's
into?
great.
Um, and not only just that, but we have skill sets that are dormant.
Hmm.
And one of the things we don't realize is that when we're transitioning to look at the whole landscape of those skills that we have cultivated over the course of our career. And oftentimes we have kids coming out of college and they're like, well, I don't have any skills, I've
Which is
done
not
internship,
true.
and it's not true.
Like I used to tell kids all the time when
Yeah,
I used to go in there and get them ready for summer jobs and
Yeah.
internships. It's
yeah.
like, did you ever babysit? Did you ever tutor? That's
Right.
that's experience. You better put that down on that resume, right?
Yeah.
Right, right, right. And I mean, I love that you said that because I was thinking about one of my clients that I work with. She had been out of the work field for about I want to say 10 or 15 years, and she was going back getting her degree, and she's a little over 50. And one of the things she was concerned about is how do I re-enter back into this field?
Hmm.
And my whole thing was, and she was like, I haven't been doing nothing for 10 or 15 years. I said,
Yeah.
are you a grandparent? Yeah. I said, have you worked with your kids, grandkids, helping them with homework? Yeah. I said, okay, so you were a tutor. She was like, what? I said, did you ever come up with creative ways to help them better understand the curriculum that you were working on with them? She was like, well, yeah, but you were a tutor.
Right.
And not only were you a tutor, but you help create pathways that help scale their academic career. So they
Right.
improved on their grade, so
Right.
there's
Transferable
opportunity.
skills, everybody.
Yes.
Transferable
Transferable skills.
skills. Yeah.
Now, you said something really interesting. I want to take it back to how you transferred through industries. Now, how did you really make that transfer? Was it similar to this, what we were talking about? Like, was it your network of referrals, or like how was you able to make that transfer between industries, not knowing the language, the lingo, or even having people in that healthcare network when you're transitioning from a whole different industry to a new industry?
Yeah, yeah. So there's that saying that your network is your net worth,
Ooh,
Yes.
right?
speak on it.
Love that.
She
And
beat me to the punch. We're
Yeah,
gonna
she
talk
did.
about that
Yeah,
later.
yeah. Now, look, go
But
ahead. Go
but go
ahead.
ahead.
well, it's really true. So one of the things that I always say is to anyone who is working, even though Luis and I are in more of this entrepreneurial startup space, right? It is very advantageous for those who are in that 9 to 5 space to look at their career as their own startup, right? You are
Yes.
your own startup, right?
Hmm.
So you're in charge of branding yourself. You're in charge of marketing yourself. So when you get into a career of choice, right? And you're excited about it, don't get comfortable. You're in there operating to see how you can scale, right? So
Yes.
one of the things that I do whenever I go into any space is look to be an asset.
Yes.
Hmm.
And that develops in many ways. But one of the ways is first understanding the community, the environment, right? Studying it, learning who the heavy hitters are. Um, Not always are the ones with titles.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And one of the things that we misguide is that if you have a title, then that means you're the, but sometimes it could be someone sitting next to you
Absolutely.
that is leveraging that. So look for advocates, look for people to fully understand your scope, direction you want to go in with your career. For me, by me taking that approach, when it was time for me to transition, I reached out to my network and I said,
Yes.
hey, look, I'm interested in transitioning. I want to do more training. And those folks showed up for me because I had already been communicating with them on
Nice.
my career
Yeah.
decision making. And from there, they came with opportunities and then was able to help
Yeah.
connect.
And the two things that I love that she said within talking about that piece is one, she added value. And
Yes.
anytime you add
Yeah,
value, it's going to be easy for you to get those referrals and get those referrals in your network. And two, sometimes you got to make friends with the gatekeepers because the gatekeepers can either
absolutely.
make you or break you.
Well, it's something interesting that when you say that too, because especially in a city like San Diego, you just never you can it's you never want to underestimate like how small the city is and
Absolutely.
how in this room right here, we've had four people who've had four walks of life who have probably collectively 30 some odd careers in their
Sure.
life. So
Hmm.
you have to think about the fact that everyone at some point is going to transition into another career, and you never
Absolutely.
know how their choice will realign with your choice down the road.
Absolutely.
And it's one of these things that I noticed that even being in business is that a lot of the same partners who I had when I was in insurance and even when I was in education
Hmm.
are
Mm,
some of the same people that I'm now aligning with and now that I'm a business owner. And so it's so bizarre and it's kind of serendipitous to me when I think about it because I'm like, man, like who would have thought? Like fast forward the clock 7 years later and now you're helping my business grow and you're
yeah.
helping me, with all these different, ideas and concepts and structures. And it's interesting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to jump over to Luis because when I met, oh, I mean, of course, we met at Startup Weekend. Uh,
We met before that actually.
what was the first time we met?
Oh man, it might have been like
Was that a community event?
yeah, or either like a what is it called?
Urban League.
Urban League.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember now. See,
yeah.
there you go with the network. And I'm gonna jump into phase two of this: join a professional or trade organization, because a lot of people don't know. Me and Luis, we have the same degree, organizational management,
In
and we
leadership.
in
Yeah.
leadership development. We did a lot of trainings, and he actually got into the entrepreneurship space with me, and I think a lot of it has to do around joining a professional trade, which you kind of run some of these professional organizations. But would you like if you're looking at number two on the list, would you agree with this, or what would you say would be your words of wisdom of how you kind of got into this space and able to run things and coordinate things and so forth? Like, what would you give as advice around this?
Um. Yeah. So my search for looking for professional and trade organizations was kind of by accident. So I didn't. I was being intentional, but not exactly knowing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked at the startup space, I was always. Let me back up for a second. So I was always interested in entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
So in my early 20s, I was selling Kirby's, and if anyone know what Kirby's are,
Kirby, what
Is
what
that
the
a
world is
vacuum
Kirby's?
cleaner?
Vacuum
yes,
cleaners.
Oh,
Kirby.
there's a very oh
Yes.
my
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
So I was
obviously
selling.
somebody didn't vacuum.
Probably
I
not.
just used a Kirby. We had a Hoover in my house.
Whoa.
Fancy.
Name dropping. Okay.
Yeah, so I was selling Kirby's, and you know, selling some other stuff, and and then after that, this is when the internet was really coming of age, and so I sold. They had this thing where they had the phone and the internet and the cable and all that, and so there was this brand new internet company, and I was trying to take over AOL, and so, I mean, it was MLM, but it was like my first taste of
Yeah.
entrepreneurship where you're
Yeah.
making your own money, and
Mhm.
so I made a little bit of cheese. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a little bit of. I was like, oh okay, like I like this, and so I would go to conferences, and it was my first time being in a professional environment where everyone was dressed up in suits and ties and looking the part, and so I mean I kind of was like mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, primarily I was a basketball player.
Yeah.
So this is when I was in junior college and I was working, and going to school and hooping. So that took precedence over being entrepreneurship.
Right.
So fast forward, when I had got out the military and I went back to school and I was trying to figure it out, graduated, and was looking for organizations to join. Um, I went to this networking event. I won't say the name of the.
Don't tell me it's like those Parabisky networking events.
Um, no,
Ah.
not really. Not really. That could be debatable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That could be debatable. But it was all I met was like insurance people, that kind of crowd.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the crowd that I was looking for in particular. They was trying to get me on a sale like first minute of like hello.
Ah.
So that wasn't necessarily what I was looking for. I'm not knocking it. That just wasn't my thing. And so, I was like, okay, let me look at entrepreneurship. And then I don't even remember how I fell into the whole entrepreneurship as far as like Startup San Diego is concerned.
Right.
But I found it and I was like, oh, I'm going to go to this event. And they had a thing for veterans. It was like $10 at the time. So for
Right.
the whole week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not like that no more. I promise you.
No,
It's
not.
definitely not. And so I went to these different types of events. So I didn't go to just marketing. I went to, the, what do you call it? The binational, which is the folks that are doing things in Mexico.
Okay.
And so with that, it was like, hey, I'm going to, join the organization, that's a story within itself, how I end up actually volunteering.
Okay.
But I wholeheartedly believe in volunteering.
Oh, and you
I
hit
love that.
number 4 on my list, which is volunteer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people knock volunteering, but volunteering can open up a lot of doors for you.
Absolutely.
It really can. And this sounds very interesting, and it sounds like we're cooking something up for a really good discussion. But before we do that, we need to cut to a commercial break. And so when we come back on the air, what we will do is dive into this more. And Terrell, you're going to go into steps 4 and 5 and 6?
Yeah, we're going to step 4 and 5, 6. We'll start back with volunteering and then go from there.
All right.
All right.
Let's cut to our sponsors.
The San Diego Voice and Viewpoint newspaper is San Diego's oldest and largest African American publication. We bring you news for and about our community. Your stories matter to us. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for nearly 6 decades. Your support enables us to continue to forge ahead, informing you with news tailored to your needs. In addition to subscribing to our weekly publication, consider using Voice and Viewpoint to promote your business and events. Call us at 619-266-2233 or send an email to ads@sdvoice.info for details on how to get started. If you have advertising needs, contact us. Our prices are both fair and reasonable. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Voice and Viewpoint or visit our website at www.sdvoice.info. Remember, a people without a voice cannot be heard.
I am Roosevelt Williams III, the Soul Cobbler. I repair man and women's shoes, handbags, and luggage so I can save your soul, heal you, and yes, I will die for you. Ask us about our 100% healthy skin lotion.
When your skin is dry and you look ashy, rub me on your skin, plus I smell classy. You can put me on fresh out the shower. Rub me on your body, I'm that soul cobbler. I can save your soul. I can heal you.
I am your Soul Cobbler. Contact me directly at 858-480-9262. That's 1-858-480-9262. And remember, every soul counts.
Have you been in a car accident? Bill collectors hounding you? About to lose your house? Your car? If so, you need to contact the law offices of Odin and Green, San Diego's oldest African American law firm. For over 35 years, the law offices of Odin and Green have provided quality legal services for the community. They pride themselves in giving each and every client individual attention. They are located at 701 B Street, Suite 540 in downtown San Diego. Call them now at 619-702-0800. That's 619-702-0800. At Odin and Green, experience matters. Si habla español.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Word on Real Estate. Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Michael Dunn, CEO of Decade Financial Solutions. Take care of all your credit needs from credit to keys. So if you need to get at me, you can call Mike the Money Guy on Instagram or 858-333-559. And with me today, I have my co-host with me, Mrs. Terrell Simmons.
When I'm on the mic, it sounds so nice. Feel free to follow me. Oh, hey. I was about to dance to the commercial, whatever it is. But your career coach and entrepreneurship 101. We got some great folks in the building today that's sharing their entrepreneur tips and tricks and experience. When we left off, we was talking about volunteering. Now, how can volunteering really help you, whether it be career development, entrepreneurship, meeting the right people in business? Break it down to us, because you started to talk a little bit, Luis, about volunteering. So love to hear your take on that.
Oh man, that's the secret skill actually.
Yeah.
Like
Volunteer,
people,
huh?
people don't even know. Like that's
Yeah.
the real secret skill. So before I started We the Plug and what you see right now, I volunteered for almost 2 years and just kind of scoping out the landscape. Who are the gatekeepers? Who are the people I need to talk to? Even trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because I wasn't necessarily honed in on what I wanted to do within the space. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what. So just asking questions, meeting people, volunteering. Going to events for free. I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, and you'll learn a lot when you're just serving food. So I've paid my dues.
Okay,
I love that.
paid your dues.
And all this was because I couldn't find a job. Like,
Nah.
so when I finished from grad school, I was looking. I would get contracts here and there, but it wasn't like a permanent, what we call a job. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna sit home and feel sorry for myself.
Nice.
So I got to go to events, the day events. They always have food. So I'm being honest.
Yeah, I
Like,
love that.
So I
Hey,
mean,
you're gonna eat. Now I know some people say, well, I can't keep the lights on tomorrow, so how am I gonna volunteer for something?
you
Like,
can't what?
I can't keep the lights on tomorrow. I need a job now. I don't have time to volunteer. What would you say with somebody like that?
I would say that. You know what? I would say that's not a very good thing. And I'm being nice, only because we're here. So I'm being nice, but that's just a bunch of crock because there's always time.
There's
You
always
know what I
time.
Yes,
mean?
there is.
Even if you're giving half hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of your time, if it's almost calculated risk, right? So it's almost like, okay, is this worth me going for X amount of time in order for me to get to where I'm getting to, whatever goal that may be?
Exactly.
So a lot of people look at it, and this is kind of going into the weeds,
Okay.
but this isn't necessary for this conversation.
Okay, let's do it.
Us as black folks, right? We all live on survival mode,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Mad
this
low.
is where the volunteer
Exactly.
comes in. So we're worrying about now, like I need money now, and which is rightfully so. I'm not knocking that, right? But for certain things, like you have to look at things in the long term,
Yeah.
and everything does not pay dividends right away.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
When I started with the plug, like I even told her, like I didn't expect things to go a certain way,
Right.
and of course, Christiana, me and her, it is gonna go that way.
Yeah.
Like, what you talking about?
That's the God in us. Come on
Well,
now.
And
It's purpose driven.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get you, but
Exactly.
let's be realistic here. Like, you know what I mean? And so, my thing is like attack, and we have to learn how to live and not survive.
Yeah.
All that.
And so that's where the volunteering comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, you said two things that I really wanted you to, if you wouldn't mind expounding on that I
Okay.
thought was like really powerful. When we first, before we went to break, you had said that when you started this whole venture and how you fell into everything, your whole purpose was like trying to be intentional. It was,
Yeah.
but not necessarily having a specific goal in mind. And then also the idea that living versus surviving, like those two things. Could you talk about that a little bit more, Luis, and what that
So
really
I'll
means?
talk about the first point.
Okay.
When I decided to even, so I remember vividly. It was December 2018, no 17.
Man, this he
And
got
Yeah.
the date
I
down.
know, right?
no, I'm serious.
Meticulous.
I'm serious.
Love
And when
that.
I tell this story, y'all gonna laugh, right? Y'all gonna kind of chuckle. So I said to myself, you know, I still was looking for a job. I still was looking around. I had no friends, nobody that I can go as far as your current network, and I had none of that
Yeah.
because by nature I'm an introvert. So I was
Yeah.
all I did was like go play basketball and go in the house.
Yeah.
So that was me. And so I said, I'm tired of going through this nickel and dime back and forth of not getting a job. And it was the hard way for me to figure out that here in San Diego, it's about who you know and not
Yeah.
necessarily what you know.
Yes.
Ooh.
And if you get a skill with who you know, that's a dangerous combination.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, oh no, I'm sick of this. So the new year comes and you know how everyone gives their revolution.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose weight.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a new man or woman, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said, this is what I'm going to do. The very first event I've ever went to, after I said that, I met this young lady.
Wow. Wow.
Serious.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a
Serious.
law of attraction right there.
Yeah,
And,
it is.
and it was, I mean, I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. She'll tell you, I didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
but there was no roadmap,
Yes.
Right.
Right.
you know. And actually, you know, I was one of her clients at first,
Yes.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know. And I was telling her, damn, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I volunteered. I kept volunteering until I figured out what I wanted to do. And once I figured it out, like, okay, there's a need here, I attacked it immediately. Like
Yes.
I didn't wait for it. I didn't say, nope, I attacked it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I kept attacking, and something came out of that.
I love that. That's so true. I mean, you talk about this a lot, sir, about surveying the market.
Yeah.
And it's great if you're, making the newest dish, but if nobody wants it, if you don't, it's, and I think that most entrepreneurs that I know that are extremely successful always look to solve problems that are currently that they're being presented with.
Okay.
It's like I see a need, I see a desire, I see that there is a need for this, and I love that. So often we're told, oh well, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and I don't necessarily believe that because for me, it's like when, from a spiritual point of view, when God puts something in my life,
Right.
He's telling me to go after it 100%. It's
Exactly.
I'm obsessed with it. I think about it. I'm constantly trying to perfect it, and I'm constantly trying to move it forward because I can see how it's going to benefit the next person. And I think that's so
Yeah.
key. So I love that word, attacking.
And let me tell you,
attacking
these
what you're-
two
what you're
never
going
put all
after.
their eggs in one basket. They diversify their portfolio.
Yeah,
very
diversification
well.
is good, but
Yeah.
again, with the intention behind it, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, you can diversify your portfolio and still be all in.
yeah,
I think that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, as the great philosopher Prodigy once said, there is no such thing as halfway crooks. So, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be all in.
yeah,
Right.
So that's very important to me.
And another thing that he alluded to is something that I said once when I first came on the show. When he's some of the things he's talking about is that Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
When it
Yeah.
comes to the frame of mind that we have to start thinking in, and start getting out of that survival mode and start instead of playing checkers, let's play chess, right?
Yeah.
Look at the long game. Now I want to go back to this list because with so many good nuggets in here
yeah,
and so many good conversations that we could tap on. Instead of tackling each one of them, like here's some of just to give you guys a nutshell of what this article has said. Like how do you kind of build and expand your career network? some proven techniques for job seekers, entrepreneurs, whatever it may have be. I'm gonna go through the list, and then I want you guys to kind of touch on what do you think is your top three of what you would do.
Mm.
So number one, it says ask members of your current network for referrals. Number two, join a professional or trade organization. Attend professional. Number three, attend professional trade meetings and shows. Four, volunteer. Five, attend networking events. Six, contact former professors, college alumni association, and or career service office. Seven, join or ramp up your activities on social and professional networking sites. Join or start a job club. Conduct informational interviews. Contact former coworkers, vendors, customers, and clients. So I'm gonna start with Christiana. What do you say is your top three on this list of what you would recommend to somebody?
So I really like number one, right? It's great, but before you start reaching out, I think you first need to have a clear understanding of what it is that you are reaching out for. I think one of the things that we lose sight of is that when we're asking for help, we don't fully communicate what isn't going on intrinsically with ourselves. One of the things that I always encourage clients that I'm working with or friends and family, and it's something I do myself, is I do an assessment with
Mm.
myself. I fully explore what it is, where I am. And oftentimes I'll communicate, and my friends and family can speak to this. I'll say, look, I have no idea what I want and need, but I know I'm supposed to move. I know I'm
Yes.
supposed. So what I need from you is, and then I lay it out, right?
Yes.
And it may be just to listen while I just ramble on,
Yes.
and what I'm needing from them is to use wisdom. So I'm very strategic with how I communicate with folks. So when I look at networking is really important, but also being able to communicate effectively with what your needs are, where you are, being transparent. So I really like that one a lot. I mean, your list was long, T.
I
Yes,
know.
it
So I
was.
mean,
He
I'm
had
I
quite
telling
a
know.
you,
few
there's
there.
a lot of
So
things
while you
on
marinate on
here.
that, one of the listeners texted in a question, and then we'll get back, jump into that.
Sure.
They want to know what can a person do to figure out what their calling is.
Oh
Oh wow.
man.
Okay.
Breathe.
I yeah. Breathe. Okay, so I can tackle some of this.
Okay, go ahead,
All
jump
right.
into it.
So as some of you guys know, I spent about 5 years or so in education counseling.
Mm,
One of the things that we identify first is motivation, and it's not about the career that you're trying to go after, but more about what we usually talk about, which is who you want to be, not
mm,
necessarily what you want to do.
mm,
And so
mm,
there's three fundamental questions that you can ask yourself that can help to kind of at least create a blueprint where in somewhere in that epicenter of this should be your purpose somewhere in there. Question number one is, what do you love so much that you're willing to do it for free?
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's question number one. Question number two is, what would you be doing? What do you envision yourself doing if you knew you could not fail? If you
Hmm.
knew you could not fail. And then question number three is, what do you think about doing so much that's for others, that's a good thing, that it gets you so excited, so giddy, that it keeps you up at night?
Yeah,
If you can answer those three questions and you can write them down, chances are somewhere in the epicenter of the answers that you come up with, therein lies your purpose.
yeah,
And I think if you can do that, I strongly believe that you'll be able to find your purpose within that
absolutely. I
construct of
love that.
questioning.
The funny thing
Can
is,
I just
go
add
ahead.
one more thing
Yeah.
on to what you were saying? I think even if you cannot answer those questions, because I've been in places through my pilgrimage
Yes.
where I was lost, and
Mhm.
it was blind spots. I was, because I was so caught up in whatever it was that I was working on at the time that I couldn't really hear. The
Yes.
one thing I always say is, if you cannot answer those questions, because those are literally the key questions that I
Yes.
use, is to be still
Yeah,
and just
Ooh,
sit.
that's good.
nice.
Because oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, all the time, God is communicating with you, or
Yes,
spirit,
he is.
however
Hmm.
you want to term that, but you're always being communicated with. And so the answers are there.
Yeah,
But if you're still, then you're going to be able to hear.
yeah.
And so that's one of the things. It's
Yes,
the
I love
quiet
that.
time. It's
Yes.
sitting, and just releasing, opening yourself, surrendering.
Man, what was your technique? Because I mean, you were at a point where you wasn't getting the job leads that you wanted, and you're still trying to figure things out. Like, what did you kind of do in your?
Wow, that's a fully loaded question, but I'll answer this though. So it was a lot of thought, right? A lot of time to myself as I like it. I'm a kind of guy person that I'll go in the corner and think,
Yes.
right? And I'll reflect. I'm much more better at that when I was like 20. Like 20, it was just
Really?
go, 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 say terrible things and not think about what I've actually done. Like now it's more like I may say something and be like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
More reflective. Okay.
And so I'm very reflective. So going back to what you were saying about calling, um, the calling. So I used to play professional basketball, right? So I played in biddies, high school, college, and I felt a certain way every time I woke up in the morning. So maybe 2013, I dislocated every ligament in my knee, like known to man.
Yeah.
And I had surgery. And so I was in the hospital room, relaxing. And, I had my girlfriend looking at me. And she was like, oh, so you just going to go to rehab and, it'll be all better. And I was like, I'm going to go back and play basketball. And she looked at me like, oh, you mean like, oh, in the gym and no, I'm gonna go back play professional basketball.
Yeah.
She looked at me like I was crazy. And at that point, she didn't really know how my craziness of competitive nature,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know that part of
The
me.
obsession. Yeah.
So I mean, I went hard, and it took 8 months. I lost about probably 80 pounds. Got back in shape. Probably was the best shape I was in my life. Ended up going back to Spain for a while, playing professional basketball. Came back. I went to work, right? Immediately in the office after that.
Yeah.
That was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. I should have took some time to think about it, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm starting all this stuff in the startup space, I started to get that same feeling, right? Of waking up in the morning like, damn, I really want to do this for this person or do this for that person. And things just started happening, and you're just like, wow, like it's crazy. So like even now, like when we meet people, right? I won't speak for her, but I'll speak for me. When I meet people, even out of San Diego, for some reason there's like a 1 degree of separation
Yeah.
or something, and it's just like, oh wow, like this is meant to be.
Yeah.
And so you have that feeling like, okay, this is something that I'm supposed to be doing, and you just keep going.
I love that.
I love
So we're going to take a moment and take a commercial break. We're going to dive back into this in full throttle after our commercial break, but stay tuned with us, and we'll be back in a minute.
Problems, saving,
Not enough.
taxes,
Too much.
retirement,
Will it happen?
investments,
Which ones are right for me?
insurance.
How will I build my legacy?
At Allen Financial Advisement, we provide solutions to your problems. Allen Financial Advisement is a full-service financial planning firm that offers financial help just where you need it. We can help make you smarter. Allen Financial Advisement provides financial advice with an educational emphasis. Get the answers by calling us at area code 858-964-2309 or visiting us on the web at ALLENFinancialAdvisement.com. That's AllenFinancialAdvisement.com. We offer financial advice with an educational emphasis.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Woodbury Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, and registered investment advisor Allen Financial Advisement and Woodbury Financial Services, Inc. are not affiliated.
You're in good hands with the Moses team. Tired of dealing with the same old realtors? Feel like no one cares about your dream of owning your very first home? We care. The Moses team. The Moses team is equipped to meet all your needs. We serve the community with creative financing, refinancing of homes, buying and selling of homes, We care about our customers in a special way.
I had to sell and buy a home in a short period of time. The Moses team made it possible for me to do so. They are great people to work with. I have never dealt with realtors like them before. They actually cared about me and my needs, and not just getting me into my house and collecting a commission.
You too can be in good hands with the Moses team. If you are in the market for buying a home, selling a home, refinancing a home or property, please call the Moses team at 619-934-4474. That's 619-934-4474. The Moses team.
Realtors of Stonegate Realty and Mortgage, California real estate broker number 017-88396.
There's that train.
Hey, San Diego, it's your boy, Tony with Men for Christ. Listen, we'll be celebrating 10 years of ministry and music, and we would like for all of you to be there. It's going to be Saturday, September the 21st at 6 p.m. at the New Creation Church. We will have special music guests, Camellia Bell, Full Gospel Ensemble, the New Creation Choir, Arissa Nicole, the Divine Praise Dancers, and Chris White. Don't miss this milestone of music and ministry. It's our 10-year celebration. It's been a long time and a long journey, and we want you guys to join us. That's going to be Saturday, September the 21st at 6 p.m., the New Creation Church. That address is 3115 Altadena Avenue in the city of San Diego. For more information, please call 858-367-3343. Tickets are $15 in advance and $20 at the door. To secure your ticket for this event or for more information, please call 858-367-3343, or you can call me at 619-843-7086, and I may give you a discount. We want to see you there, San Diego. God bless.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mike the Money Guy on Let's Talk About It, the word on real estate, CEO of Decade Financial Solutions. If you guys have any credit needs or have any credit questions, feel free to reach out to me at 858-333-5559, or you can DM me on Instagram at Mike the Money Guy. Today we have two lovely, powerful hosts, Luis Martinez, the founder and CEO of We the Plug, and his co-partner Christiana. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Christiana, all right.
Let's-
So,
look, you see how she do me? I get it wrong once, I'm gonna get this forever.
So,
I was just so excited to have her here, you know.
yeah.
You can say my secret name. It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
so
all good.
you guys have been, it's been a delight to have you on the show thus far, and I just wanted to let the audience know, if you guys could take a moment, introduce yourselves, let them know who you guys are and where they can find you.
Sure, absolutely. So, yes, I'm Christiana Russell, and you can find me on Christiana at wetheplug.com in collaboration with Luis Martinez on We the THA plug, not THE distinction there.
Love
'cause
that.
There you
we
go.
the plug. Again, I also operate my own consulting business, Mended Wing Consulting LLC, and I do strategic planning and project management. You can reach out to me on mendedwingconsulting@gmail.com, or you can go on my website, mendedwingconsulting.com.
Love that.
We might need a whole list for Luis.
I know, right?
All the projects he running right now. But go ahead, Luis.
I'm going to keep it short. I'm Luis Martinez, CEO, founder of We the Plug. You can find me, obviously, wetheplug.com. Check our website out. Like Christiana said, it's THA, not THE. You can also find me on IG, which is Lucito the Entrepreneur. Go. And also, you can find me at Facebook at your own risk.
Well, you're doing pretty good here.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good lately.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for now. After, these guys are giving me a conversation about that.
we that was the offline conversation. We was talking about how he we're going to
Yeah, we don't have to
Yeah,
discuss
no,
it.
no, no.
But for those of you guys who are listening on live and trying to find us as well, you guys can go to GodRadio1.com, go right on to Facebook, God Radio 1, and you can plug right in, click on the link, and you can live feed right in there and ask questions right on there. So, Terrell, go ahead.
So
and
I
take
want to
from here, brother.
wrap it back around because we went into some really great discussions. And I want to bring it back to Christiana to wrap up her other two, and just last little nuggets of advice that you would give to somebody, whether they're in the beginning of their journey, middle of their journey, end of their telling their professional career, transitioning to the consulting role, of your top tips from off this list and how that translates, and then we'll take it over to Luis, and then we'll go into a true or false session after that. So go ahead, take us
for
away.
sure, for sure. So, little plug, I'm actually working on a curriculum. I'm in the final stages of it called Rabbit Hole Academy, and
Okay.
it's about those 3 stages that we go through
Ooh, love that.
as we're transitioning.
And when can we expect that for the listeners out there?
T always putting me on the spot. All right,
Hey,
it's gonna roll out before the end of the year.
end of the year,
Okay, so
okay. End
fourth
of the year.
quarter.
Y'all make sure y'all
I
look
got
at
a
that.
focus group that already went through it, so I'm doing some revisions.
Don't bring up the book either.
Please
Uh,
don't bring up.
we gotta hold our peoples accountable.
Listen, that's true. That's
That's
true.
key.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
key.
Yeah. So a book coming soon. But one of the things that I was sharing with you when we were on break is just that the list has 10 great steps on what can be done to move you through your transitional journey. But one of the things I was saying that's important is to understand where you are in your journey.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like I was saying earlier, to be clear with that. So there are points on the list that I think would be advantageous for those that are further along. If you're clear with where you're transitioning, I have some clients right now, one in particular, who is in the law, in the legal field, and is transitioning. Very clear on what they need to do, how they're going to do it is another thing, and that's what I'm working with them on. So in that space, some of these steps are going to be more important for them to focus on. But I'd say for those that are kind of in the early stage of trying to figure it out, you definitely want to start working your network, start having those conversations, being transparent with that. Start volunteering. One of the things that Luis talked about with intentionality with volunteering, I'm a servant leader, right?
Yes.
So
Awesome.
whatever I do, I'm operating in that space. So it should not be something, that's hindering you from doing that.
Yes.
Whether your lights are on or off, you are still operating out of an understanding that we are here to serve others. And as
Yes.
we serve others, it's going to expand our own current situation
The more you
and
give, the more you
enhance it,
get.
right?
Yes.
So I don't think there should be ever an excuse for why you're not serving. So yeah, volunteering for sure, because again, you don't know what opportunities are going to come up with that. And definitely going out to events. Luis is right. When he made that decision to show up, I was doing the same thing. I knew no one in this community
Wow.
in January of 2018. And when I say no one, I mean no one. I knew people in Delmar
Yeah.
because that's where I was working. And I'm from originally LA. So that's where it's going back and forth. So the networking thing is advantageous. And it's okay if you don't know where to start. Cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Cast a wide net, because as you're going through that, you're going to start to shrink it down and down, because then it'll be more clear to you on what doesn't work.
Yes.
Awesome.
I love that.
Awesome. All right. So Luis, give us your top three. One for somebody who's just starting out, someone who's at middle stage of transitioning, pivoting, figuring it out, and then somebody who's very set. Number three, know what they want. What would you suggest for them in this?
So number one is join a professional organization. Number two is join a professional organization. Number three is join a professional organization.
Okay, break it down. Why? For all
So-
three.
Y'all might want to get out y'all pens.
All right. I got
All
my
right, I'm ready.
I got
Hey,
my pen.
I'm
Let's
ready.
go. Let's do it.
It's a foundation, right? It's no different than when you put up a website, right? Squarespace, right? When you put your website, everything is already there for you, right? You're just inputting your information and you're building upon that. It's no different when you're starting out. When you go into an organization, right, you go through it, you figure out, okay, what is it that I can provide of value that no one else has, right? So that's what I did. And I said, okay, no one can provide the inclusion aspect better than I can from my perspective. Because inclusion and diversity is all objective, right?
Yes.
It's subjective, excuse me. So I said, I can provide that from my POV. And so I built my reputation on doing good work within that organization.
Yes.
From there, I said, oh, okay, people know me from this. Now I can expand and do this over here and still be within the same context of what I was doing over there with the organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how
Nice.
you build upon um, your network. Because without that, really, none of those other things that's on this list happens. You
Absolutely.
know, if you want to talk about volunteer, I mean, obviously you have to join a professional organization.
Yes.
Networking events, no one knows who you are, right? So
Right.
people are leery of your reputation and what you're bringing to the table. You know, even if you join or start a club, you know, I mean, again, reputation, integrity, all that
Yes.
comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, information interviews, right? People are just that's don't. So it's the same thing like when we build on, you know, Amazon Web Service or,
Yeah.
you know, Squarespace or
Yeah.
what's the other one?
Eventbrite,
Wix or
Wix.
something like
Yes.
that.
Oh, like a
It's
platform.
it's
Yeah.
already
There's
there.
another
Yeah.
platform
You know
there.
what I mean? So just build off of it.
Gotcha.
Simple.
So I'm gonna go to this next segment, true or false, right? And then we alluded to this several times throughout the day. There's the old saying, "Your network is your net worth."
Absolutely.
True or false? Is that true or false for you? Your network is your net worth, and then why?
It is very true. And
Why?
the reason why it's so true is because the reason why I'm where I am today is because of my network.
Okay.
And my network is also my ecosystem. And the ecosystem, right, is a live organism, right, that's growing
Yes.
and expanding intentionally. Um, and so when I think about my network, I'm thinking about it as an ecosystem. How is it growing me and how am I contributing to it as well? You can't get anywhere alone. You're not an island unto yourself. If that was the case, then you'd be here without anyone else.
Man,
So,
I think there's a quote out there: "No one succeeds alone." Who's that? Justice. Uh, oh man, which justice was it? It was the
Don't know.
make up one. I
Sotomayor.
don't know. There you go.
There you go.
Put a sister, Latina.
All right. Your network is your net worth. True or false?
Completely false.
Completely false. Okay. Break it
Really?
down for us. Okay. I want to hear it.
So what Christiana just mentioned is 1,000% correct,
Oh, okay.
right? But I believe you got to add value to that. You can know all the people in the world, right? But if you don't know what to do with it, then it's pointless,
Okay.
right? And so I can know the mayor, I can know whoever, but it doesn't matter. So I give a personal example. When I was volunteering for Startup San Diego,
Mhm.
okay, people knew me as, oh, Luis, you know, he's very passionate about, you know, diversity and inclusion, yada, 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 right? People saw me in that light. When I started We the Plug, it became a totally different scenario. People started talking to me different. People approached me in a different manner. It's because I provided value. I provided leadership. So, and that's where I think people get it misconstrued. You can know 1,000 people, but if you don't know what to do with it, it's kind of like when someone has like 25,000 followers on Instagram, but
Yeah.
don't know how to monetize it. It's the same concept.
Or I give you one better. Like they got that new iPhone coming out. A lot of people going to break their neck to get it, but they don't use half the features on there.
Yeah.
They didn't even use half the features that's on their own phone right now,
Yeah.
and they quick to
But
add
it's
that new thing.
but it's still your net worth though. It's
Right.
just that you don't know your worth to it.
Okay.
And I think that's where it comes into play where you're like exploring to understand who you are. It goes back to the question or what you mentioned earlier
Yes.
about is exploring those 3 steps. So, I mean, for instance, Luis and I mean, let's be full transparent here. Luis and I have a huge network ecosystem, and yet we are still recognizing all these different worthy parts of it that we're not even utilizing.
Yeah.
And it's because we don't know what to do with it quite yet,
Yeah.
right? But we know its value.
Yeah.
for
Yes.
us, right? So we have to go through that list of three, like, okay, what is our purpose? And that's what he's speaking to. And so, when you're saying that it's not there yet, it's just that you don't know
Right.
yet. So going through that
Yeah.
checklist
I
is
mean,
key.
I really that's a very interesting take on it. Because I 100% think it's true.
Okay.
You know, you can look at, I mean, I can go through my phone right now, and it's actually ironic. I actually have seen the people in my phone actually change as far as
Mm,
the people that I used to associate with on a day-to-day basis
Yeah.
are not the same people that I associate
absolutely.
with
Oh, yeah.
today on a
Absolutely.
day-to-day
Absolutely.
basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that
And
transition.
it's completely contingent on, like you've said, my purpose,
Yeah.
my intention, um, monetarily speaking, where I'm trying to go. Um, all of those things come into play, and the thing that I've noticed more than anything is the opportunities that are now available to me were
Yeah.
not available
Mhm.
prior, and that is a complete testament to my network.
Okay.
Guys who are doing extremely well, who don't necessarily have to reach down or reach to assist me, but they do because I think that's to your point. It's because of the value that they see
Right.
Yeah.
and what I'm able to provide in my area of expertise, and therefore it has caused my network to expand and the people that I'm
Absolutely.
rubbing shoulders with on a day-to-day basis.
Gotcha. Well, that
So,
that allows me to segue to my next question. True or false? It's not what you know; it's who you know.
yes.
True.
100% true.
Okay.
People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. It's
Okay.
just that simple.
True or false? It's not what you know; it's who you know.
I mean, you can know a lot, but if you know no one, it doesn't matter. And vice versa. You can know everyone, but if you don't know anything, if you don't bring value to it,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter who you know.
Okay.
It doesn't.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword, so
So
to
it's a
speak.
literally it's a double-edged
Almost
sword
like
for
a
me.
paradox. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
All right. Luis, it's not what you know; it's who you know. True or false?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay. Break it down
It's
for
kind
us.
of indifferent.
All right.
It goes hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm gonna say, for me, I can see where both sides of the coin comes at. Something I often told students in my career development workshops, like in San Diego's economy, it's not what you know, it's who you know, because you have to know certain people to get your foot in the door and get past the gatekeepers and all that stuff. But I do one better in San Diego's economy. It's not what you know, it's who you know, but it's who knows you. Who knows you? Because most of the people who
Mm.
know you will allow you opportunities that you probably didn't even know that existed
Mm.
and reach out to you like, hey, did you know this was happening? Blah, blah, blah. So I want to thank my guest for coming in today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
Oh,
guys
Appreciate
so
you
much.
guys.
Appreciate you as always.
appreciate you.
Awesome.
What can we do to find more about you, get more information? What's some events you guys got coming in? Plug that in real quick.
I was gonna talk about on the 19th. I got a Startup Ground event. It's
Yep.
coming Thursday,
Yep.
and you can talk about the 24th.
24th, We the Plug got an event in LA at Microsoft.
That's
Keep
October 24th.
October 24th.
We can find it on the
Keep a
website.
lookout. Find it
Plug?
on the
All right.
website. It's going to
Okay.
be coming soon. Yeah.
All right, so look out for those events. We the Plug. Find those events coming up, especially if you're in the LA area. Any last final words?
We just want to thank you guys all for participating and listening in on the Let's Talk About It, the word on real estate today. I'm Michael Dunn, your host, CEO of Decade Financial,
Your boy Terrell. When I'm on the mic, it's always sound nice. Signing off.
and we signing off, guys. Love you. Peace.
Thanks. Who that was?